Today, you're going to learn how to make miniature books and charms for your junk journals, or you can keep them as a collectible mini book. G'day, I'm Donna from Australia, and don't worry if you feel your fingers can't cope with making something this tiny. I've got some for sale in my little online shop. This miniature book comes with a small belly band that keeps it closed, so the band can be slipped on and off. You can even open the book and turn its tiny pages. If you wanna, you can jot down miniature messages inside. The book cover features a removable origami folded slip cover, so you can interchange or adjust it as you need it. You can make whatever size you like. Going forward, I'm going to call this one the miniature book charm and this one the mini. You can make it in either the Japanese style or a junk journal style. Depends on what paper you've got. You can use white copy paper for the pages or a coloured copy paper. So we're going to make the mini size first, and it's a good one to practice on. But if you're a confident paper crafter, make whichever one you like. You don't need any patterns to make these little books. You can make them whatever size you like. I'm going to be using both white paper and this natural colour paper in an 80 GSM paperweight. I'm using an A4 paper, but you can use your US letter size paper and follow along just the same. To cut your sheet of paper in half, an easy way is to fold it in half long ways, give it a really sharp crease, put your ruler right on the edge of that fold and cut off the slightest, skinniest slither, which is the fold, and that'll release your two sheets of paper. And put both of the sheets together and cut them off at 11 inches long. Now fold these two pieces in half long ways and give them a sharp crease. This is going to be the height of your pages. So you need to do this to both pieces, and we're going to join them together shortly. If you want more pages in your journal and you want your spine to be thicker, you'll need to cut and fold 3 pieces. We're going to start folding, but I'm going to show you again that this is the height of your little journal. Bring the bottom corners of your folded piece up to the top corners of your folded piece and match them exactly. Now, because your paper is folded, you might need to use a big needle or a pokey tool or something so that you can flatten this fold down. Use a bone folder if you've got one and make that a really nice sharp crease. Turn your paper over and get the bottom again and fold it up to the top corners again. And if you need to, pull that down with your pokey tool and put a nice sharp crease in it. Turn it over and bring the other side up to the top corners and crease the bottom fold again. Now when you open it up, you've got the shape of a W. Now I want you to get this fold here and crease it the opposite way. So all you're going to do is pick it up and turn it back the opposite way. So all the folds are now going to be folded, so this way, and this way. So now grab your first fold and pinch it so that it looks like this, and bring that fold line up to the top corners. And once they're perfectly level with the top corners, just crease that fold underneath the top paper. You can't see it, but it's there. Then get the next fold line and bring it up to the top corners. Then get the next fold line and bring it up to the top corners and crease that bottom fold. And then this final cut piece, just fold it up to the top corners and crease it. Well, that's the first piece folded. And this is what we call an origami style concertina. Now we're going to do it all over again. Fold the first piece in half and put a crease in the bottom. Bring the bottom up to the top corners and crease the fold line. Turn it over, bring the bottom up to the top corners and crease the bottom fold line. You've got your W here. Turn your W back on itself so your 3 fold lines are facing the same way. Bring the first fold line up to the top corners and crease it. Bring your second fold line up to the top corners and crease the bottom. Bring the third fold line up to the top corners and crease it. Bring the bottom cut line up to the top corners and put a crease in it. So that's your second piece done exactly the same way as the first piece. We're only using 2 pieces to make our mini book, but if you want a thicker spine with more pages, use 3 pieces. Now we're going to join these 2 pieces together, but you can see here there's no hinge. We need a hinge between these 2 lines here. We're not just going to glue this side to this side. We're going to insert one piece of paper into the other. So to make it do that, we need to cut this side off. So I'll put a mark right on the crease line just to show you where I'm cutting it. I'm going to cut to the right of this fold line. See how this side is facing the right way now? So I can insert the one on the right inside the one on the left. If you didn't cut this piece off, you would not be able to do this move. The one on the right makes a hinge and forms a seamless connection. So if you were joining 3 pages, do the same on your third piece. I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the corners here just to make this sit nice and flat. And this is where we're cheating. We're not entirely using the origami method. We're using a bit of glue. So yeah, we're cheating. Now when you fold all of these together, it's going to form your front, your spine and your back. So I'll just write front on here, turn it over, write back. This is the top, these are your pages, and this is your spine. If you folded them correctly, everything should fall into place. Get whatever clamp you've got and clamp from the page side. You want to leave the spine exposed so you can put some glue on it. So there's the pages, and this side is the spine. And this is the part that you want just hanging out of your clamp, and this is the part we'll add the glue to. Just put an even coat along all those little ridges in the fold lines, and then use your finger and spread it out evenly. Just put this clamp down to dry. I left mine for a good hour. This is dry now, and look how well the pages turn. But while it was drying, I just went ahead and made some more book blocks, and I just used these little clamps to show you that you don't need to use a big one like mine. You can use any clamps. Just put one at either end and one at the page side, just so your spine is exposed, so that you've got a way to get to the spine and add the glue. It's time to make the cover, and it's an origami style slip cover. We don't need glue to make this cover. You can make it using Japanese origami paper if you have any, or you can just make it in a junk journal style. This paper here, I don't know what it is. It's a beautiful paper. It's soft. It almost looks handmade. It was in Mum's stash, so I have no idea what it is, but I love it. Mum also had an extensive range of Japanese papers. I've just pulled out, honestly, this is just a small display of her beautiful papers. I've pulled out some patterned papers and some plain. And because these journals are so tiny, I found it best to pick papers with a really tiny pattern on them. The smaller, the better. This pink one here is this piece. This is this unusual handmade style paper. And this one here is these origami square papers. You can also use wrapping paper. This is vintage wrapping paper out of Mum's stash. I find some of these sheets are perfect to make these little slip covers. So if you've got any wrapping paper in your stash, go through them. It works well. This is a piece of vintage wallpaper that I received a beautiful gift in. It was wrapped in this gorgeous wallpaper. Okay, let's start making the cover. I'm going to use this beautiful Japanese paper here. It's a soft paper. It's not a cardstock. And I'm going to cut a piece 4 inches wide. This is double the height of my pages. On the back side, I'm going to put a line down the centre at 2 inches high. Fold up the bottom nearly to that pencil line. We're going to be making the cover a custom fit because each time you make your pages, they're going to turn out a little different. If you use different paper, it's going to fold differently. So it's best to make each cover a custom fit for each book block. Put your pages back on nearly to the fold line. Leave a little bit of overhang and then fold the top of your cover towards the center. You want to be looking for a little bit of overhang at the bottom of your book block and the top. Just keep checking it. The good thing about this type of paper is that you can adjust it. I'm just getting the height right at this one end here before I put the crease along the whole length of my paper. And then once I'm happy with it, I'm going to transfer the measurement up the other end and then put a crease all the way up the whole length of the paper. This strip of paper is way too long to make a cover for this little book. I only need about 5 inches, but I'm going to cut this off at 6 inches. You are way better off to have your paper too long than too short. Now we're going to fold the spine in your cover. Put your cover on the table, put the spine of your pages on the end of your cover and put your finger where the spine ends and put a pencil mark. Now bring the other end of your cover and fold it over up towards that pencil line and crease this fold line. Turn your cover all the way around and do exactly the same on the opposite end. You can use a pencil mark or just use your eye. It's amazing how this works, but you've just put a spine in the middle of your strip. The cover itself is way too long, but look at this. Your book block fits the spine perfectly. And you can see better the space on the top and the bottom as well. Now with the cover in place, open the book on the first page. Look at my left hand. I've got my thumb and my fingers holding the first page and the cover together. Turn the book around without letting go of that page and fold this long piece over the edge of your first page, and then crease this fold. You can see that it's too long, so cut off about 1/4 of an inch. You could really cut off more than that, and cut off the same on the opposite end. Here's one that I've made earlier, and it's a much shorter fold line. So you can cut off a little bit more than this if you want. With this soft paper, I find I've always got to fold it towards the center here a bit more, but with a firmer paper, you don't need to worry about this as much. Measure the width of this fold and transfer that measurement to the opposite end and fold it over and crease this fold as well. The objective here is not to have this piece hanging over on the outside. You want to try and tuck it towards the inside like I'm doing here. When it's soft paper like this, you can pinch it and crease it in place so that it stays on the inside. So when I fold this here, I don't want to see the edges poking up on the outside. To finish it off, I'll fold the opposite end to the inside, and I'll do a little bit of maneuvering on the spine again because this paper's a little bit soft without the book block in it. Now turn your cover around until you work out which is going to be your front. Open the cover up and get the first page of your book block and slide it into the little pocket that you made on the front end of your cover. Now turn your book around so that your book block is in your right hand. Lift it up, open it to the back page, and feed that into the slot of the little back opening that you've made in your cover. Once it slides in there, all you've got to do is maneuver the spine of the pages into the spine area of your cover and just push it all into place with your fingers. It really does take a long time to explain how to do this, but when you get the hang of it and start making them, they come together pretty quick. This turned out beautiful, and don't forget, you can take your pages out of this little cover. It's not glued in. So now all that's left to do is make a little belly band for it. The best material to make a belly band is a light cardstock. But if you haven't got a light cardstock, you can use a lightweight paper and just cover your light cardstock. That will get you out of trouble. Cut a 1/2 inch strip of your cardstock and then just wrap it around your journal with a little bit of overlap. And you'll need this overlap so you can glue the joins together. Put some glue on your cardstock and then glue this cardstock to the back side of your paper. Now trim a small border around the edge. Add some glue to the sides of the paper and then wrap the paper around your cardstock. Now just wrap your belly band from the front of your journal, then around the back, the spine, and back to the front. Now you want your cut edge to go underneath the folded edge at the top. If it's a little bit long, just cut it. But don't cut it too short. You don't want this join short. You want it a little bit long so that it actually slides well. Then just put a bit of glue on the bottom and a bit of glue on the top. Oh, hang on. I forgot to put a shield underneath. More times than not, you'll probably press this down and squash a bit of glue out. Put a bit of scrap paper under here for protection. And you've got to hold this and shape your sides until this glue grabs and dries. And just before it dries, do a little test slide to see how tight it is, because this way you can loosen it off if it's too tight. You don't want it too tight, or you won't be able to get it off your journal and put it back on easily. When you're satisfied it's just right, take your scrap piece out, give it another slide, and then start your decorating. I'm just gluing a black piece of fabric down, an old postage stamp, and a little paper flower right on top. And this one's finished. This one here, all I done was hand draw a flower and colour it in with my Ohuhu markers and glued a little pearl on top. Here's another variation. I used the vintage wallpaper. I used the same paper to make my belly band, glued a little piece of old lace on the belly band, a printed paper flower, and a plain paper flower on top. It looks so cute. And this one I used the cream coloured paper instead of white. There are so many variations you can make in this mini journal. Doesn't matter what paper you use, it's adorable. Remember I said they turn out different sizes? Look at the difference in the width in these two. And that is why I showed you how to make your cover without an actual measurement. Because as careful as you might be, each time you make one, it's going to turn out slightly different in size. So just use the pages as your template to make your cover. To make this cover here, I used a heavyweight paper, not quite a cardstock. I made the belly band to match. I've got some of this in my little shop if you like this trim. And I made the belly band first, and then I just glued the trim around the center of the belly band to finish it off. This one here, I just glued a little plastic heart motif on it and a little heart pearl in the center. It might not be traditional Japanese, but it's art. Now you've had a chance to practice on the mini journal, we're going to make a miniature book charm. Or you can make it as a little miniature book for your collection. This little book is a lot smaller than the mini version. It's much easier if you use a firm paper for the cover rather than a soft paper. Start the same way we done with the mini version. Fold your sheet of copy paper in half and just cut away the fold, and that will separate your two pieces. You only need to use 1/2 of this piece. Fold it in half lengthwise and make a good sharp crease. And cut it off to measure 10¼ inches long. Turn your paper around so the fold is on your left and measure out 22 millimeters or 7/8 of an inch. Put a pencil mark at the top and the bottom of your strip and then just cut off the excess. This is going to be the height of your book. Now there's no join in these pages like we did on the first book because this book is so small. So just start folding your pages the same way we done in the first book, only there's many more pages to fold. Just starting from the bottom, fold them all up towards the top. Turn it over and keep folding the bottom up towards the top. Then turn it around and get the bottom piece, bring it back up to the top again, flip it over, and just keep doing that until you've got all of these pages folded up towards the top, and you'll end up with a wide concertina like this. We're not finished yet. This width is double the size of our pages that we need. We need to fold these in half again. So unfold this strip of pages, and this first fold here is facing down. It's known as the valley. This second fold is facing up. It's known as the mountain fold. So what I want you to do is get the first fold and fold it the opposite way. Pinch it and then bring that fold line up to the top two corners of your cut lines, and then crease it with your fingers. And repeat this all the way down the strip. Fold the next crease up. It's got to be a mountain fold, and then pinch it and bring it up towards the top. Press the one underneath. Fold it, bring it up towards the top, then press it down underneath. Fold it, then bring it up towards the top and press it underneath. Then get the next fold line and bring it up towards the top corners and press it down. When you're at the last one, just fold over that last piece up to the top corners and press it down, and there's your mini book folded so tiny. It's not always easy to get it perfectly level, but close enough is good enough. You can lay it on the table and give it a good press with your bone folder through all the layers. And here's what it looks like if you let it go in the concertina. And just the same as the mini journal, you've got your front and back page, and this is where we'll be putting the glue on our spine. I'm going to tap my spine on the table so it's nice and level, and just put my clamps on. And I'm going to put my clamps on from the opening of the page side, just so the spine is peeking out, and then I'm going to add my glue. I use the 𝗟𝗡𝗃 glue because it's really strong and you don't need much. I'm adding the glue in the ridges, and then I just smooth it out with my finger, and I'm going to leave it for a good hour to dry. Now this is dry, the pages turn beautifully, and we can go ahead and make our cover. I'm just going to give a summary on how I make this cover, because I've already shown you how to make the cover at the beginning of this tutorial. Your cover needs to be twice as high as your pages, and it has to be as long as the total measurement of the slip of the front page, the spine, the back page, and the slip of the back page. Fold your bottom and top edges of your cover in towards the center, and don't forget you only want your cover a tiny bit taller than your pages. Then fold both ends to form your spine. So then it'll look like this. You've got your front, your back, and your spine. Put your book block in and do a test fit. If you're going to make your little miniature book as a charm, before we fold these ends, we're going to go ahead and put our jump ring in to turn it into a charm. You're going to need a small jump ring, a pokey tool, and some jewelry pliers. The first thing we're going to do is pick up the cover, open it up, and not too close to the top. You need to just mark where you want to poke your hole. If you put it too close to the edge, you're going to risk ripping your hole. So put it away from the edge of the top. And just gently push your pokey tool through. Don't make the hole too big. It's just got to fit this O-ring. Using 2 pair of pliers, hold either side of your jump ring and only rotate the right hand side towards you. Now that's open, and just feed that into the hole. Once it's in the hole, you've still got a hold of the right side of the jump ring. Grab it with your other pliers and just twist it again the other way. It's just like opening and closing a door. Now grab your pages and do another test fit. Now your jump ring is in here. It's not going to let you put the pages all the way into the spine, but it goes close enough. So that fits good. So just open it up at the first page and fold this over at the front. Give it a good crease and then turn it around and fold it over and give it a crease as well. Open up your little book block and slip the front page into the front slip pocket and then turn it back on itself so you can feed the back page into the back slip pocket, and then just wiggle it into place so that it slips into this cover, and then just close it up. Give it a good finger press, and now we can make a belly band for it. These are so stinking cute. I can just sit and make these all day long. But do practice on the bigger version. It does make a difference. Make the belly band exactly the same way as I showed you in the first journal. You can add whatever miniature embellishment you have in your stash on this little belly band. What I'm going to do is have this one match a journal that I've already made. So I'm just going to cut off one of these little flowers and I'm making it match the charm that's already on there.
I'm so beautiful without you. Now my skin glows and it shines like glue. I'm pretty without you. Pretty without you. Pretty without you. Pretty without you. I get my beauty sleep without you. No more nicotine turning my hands blue. I'm pretty without you. Pretty without you. Pretty without you. Feeling lonely was hard, but it was all for the better. Taking care of myself, haven't done that in forever. No mascara under my eyes since you left with your life. No makeup on my sleeve, now I can't keep it together. I'm so beautiful without you. Now my nails can grow and I bought new shoes. I'm pretty without you. Pretty without you. Pretty without you. Pretty without you. Feeling lonely was hard, but it was all for the better. Taking care of myself, haven't done that in forever. No mascara under my eyes since you left with your life. No makeup on my sleeve, now I can't keep it together. I loved and I lost what's left of my heart. I'm saving for the future. And in the meantime, I'm all for me time. Feeling good and looking cute.